The reading today is from Hebrews chapter 11 and chapter 12. Now faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see. This is what the ancients were commended for. Therefore, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles. And let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us, fixing our eyes on Jesus, the pioneer and perfecter of faith. This is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God.
Thank you, Lyndon. Now we are going to hear a talk from Ben. Ben, is it okay if I pray for you? Yeah, Lord, we just want to lift Ben up to you right now. We just pray that every word that comes from him is from you, Lord. And I just pray that you open our ears and our hearts to hear his words, Lord. Amen.
Thank you very much. So yes, today, those verses, and I wasn't part of the meeting, so I've sort of taken that and I've found very similar themes, which is amazing, because that means that God is really speaking. Today, the talk I've titled as The Race of Faith. Who here has run in a race? Show of hands. Pretty much everybody has run in a race. For some people, that might be a long time ago. Some people might be more recently. When I think about races, I think about my last year of primary school. It was year 6, sports day. It's the final event of the day. And I was up against the fastest boy of the school. He'd been fastest all through primary school. Everyone knew he was fastest. And it was this final event, which one of those ones where it's like egg and spoon, balance a bean bag sort of events. And the final thing, we were neck and neck. And we were passing a bean bag from one box to another. And we were neck and neck. And I know that he was going to be faster. So I took a risk. And I threw a bean bag from a distance. And it could have all gone wrong, but it went in. And I was like, right, this is great. I'm going to beat him. All through primary school, he's been the fastest, but I'm going to come out of top. And I crossed the line with all this going through my head, thinking about the glory of it. And he passed me and won. Who has ever lost a race? Yeah. For all the races that we compete in, chances are we're going to lose most of them. It doesn't matter how close you come in second. I know in that race, I was so close to beating him. I still lost. It's first of the losers, even if I'm second. And we see races everywhere in our world. There's always competition. In sports, it's obvious. But things like the business race to get to the top of the CEO. It's things like schools constantly boasting about exam results. It's things like competing and comparing to be the top percent, who has the most money, who has the bigger house, the newest gadgets, the latest fashion. In terms of the world, we're always going to be compared and competing with someone else because nobody wants to feel like a loser. But at what point is that enough? Do you have to become some billionaire, a multi-award-winning artist, the most famous, the most well-known? Even for those that we see like that top percent, they continue to strive for more. They're always compared to others. Even they have not reached what they feel is their best. So for 99% of the world, we're never going to be the top. And we're always going to be looking at that. In terms of the world, we're always going to lose, and we're always going to struggle. Life is tough. And when you hear me say that, I want you to call back to me, but Jesus is tougher. Okay? So we're going to try that. Life is tough. Great, I could hear Will and Francis, but it's all age, everybody, like try again. Life is tough. Yes, he is. And Jesus says we will face hardships. Life will be like that. And you just have to look at the news. Open the BBC and you'll see that our world is full of famine, poverty, war, anger, sickness, hurt. And even in our own lives, not on the news, we're dealing with things like illness and pain, loss. We have stress over work, exams, friendships. We don't know where we're going in our lives, don't know our purpose. Whatever it is, we're always going to be facing something. But Jesus draws broken people to him. And the church is therefore going to be the most broken amount of people together in one place. We're all going to be facing something, whether that might be hurt or the tiredness of life. And that's why it's important to remember that life is tough. Good. This is the race that the writer in Hebrews is referring to. In a world full of endless races, endless losers, Jesus overcomes that and leads us in a different sort of race, the race of faith. And that is going to be a race that we're running for our entire lives. It's a marathon. We're never going to get a chance to stop. And at 25 years old, I know I'm obviously the peak embodiment of fitness. But I know at some point that's going to fade. And I can run short distances, but marathons are out of the question already. And so not only do we need to find strength to do it, endurance, but we're also going to have the devil throwing things at us and constantly pulling us down. A couple of years ago, I was working as essentially a primary school supply teacher. And I spent a surprising amount of time running, which wasn't very comfortable in my big shoes, but there you go. And for most classes, it was okay. It was just about, can we catch him? Can we pass him? Can we be quicker? But for reception, for those groups of 5-year-olds, it was, can we grab him, trap him, and pin him to the floor? And for the first 5 minutes, it's not too bad. I'm quite quick. I can outpace them. But children have this endless supply of energy. And so 5 minutes in, they'd start to get clever. They'd start to spread out. They'd try and corner me. And then all it would take is one of them just getting hold of my T-shirt and pulling me. And suddenly you've got 10 of them just crowding round trying to climb you. I'm sure some parents in the room might know what it's like to have one child try and climb you. And it's about manageable. But when you've got 10 tiny hands trying to pull you to the floor, you're not going anywhere. It's no longer a game of can we trap him, and it's a game of can I stay standing up without squishing any children? But this is how the enemy works. Once there's one hand pulling you down, there's just more and more and more. And suddenly it's not a fight of can we carry on running this race of faith, but can we get up off the floor? Can we fight off these hands? Hebrews 11 describes faith as confidence in what we hope for and assurance for what we do not see. Now, this is my phone. I can hold this in my hand, and I don't need to have faith that it's okay. I can see it. But let's say I give it to someone I trust. So, Will, can you hold my phone and put it in your pocket? I trust Will for now. Now, he's put it in his pocket. I can't see that anymore. So suddenly, my assurance for what I do not see, well, I can't see my phone. And so I've got to start to hope and put my faith in Will. But then maybe I start to think, well, what if there's something sharp in his pocket? What if he forgets his blazer later, or the phone drops out of his pocket because it's not his? Maybe he forgets. And suddenly, my faith starts to wobble a bit. And maybe I start to think, well, maybe he'll want to start juggling, and he'll start practicing with my phone. I don't know. Now, I know Will's probably not going to do that, hopefully. Oh, there he goes. But I don't know. And so my faith and my hope might start to wobble. And it's a bit like a game of Jenga. In a game of Jenga, you've got lots of blocks. And at the start, it's all fine. It's straightforward. You've got a nice, easy tower. But as you go, you pull out block by block by block, and it becomes more and more wobbly. And so as I start to question things, and I start thinking like, well, maybe Will's going to drop it. Oh, maybe this is going to happen. Maybe there was that thing in his pocket. And suddenly that tower starts to wobble and it falls. The thing is, with our faith, when we can see things, it's usually okay. But God moves unseen. And we do see evidence of his work. We see signs of him moving. But maybe there's times in our lives when we don't feel that connection with him. Maybe we feel further away. And that doubt, that wobble starts to seep in. We're not strong enough to do it on our own. And the devil tries to take us down, dragging us to the floor and reminding us that life is tough. There we go. Yes, he is. And this is why Jesus places us in a cloud of witnesses. Now, when I first read that, I was like, what on earth, what is this talking about? I don't know. And we've already touched on it this morning, but a cloud of witnesses is faithful people. Now, that might be saints from the Bible who have shown us the way, or it might be people in our own lives. but it's people, humans, who have shown us what true faith is like. And that's why we need them surrounding us to guide us on our journey. And so I want to tell you a story of someone very important and someone who had a very special bit of jewellery reluctantly given to them by their uncle. His name is Frodo Baggins. And in his journey, he has to travel a long, long way. He travels for around 6 months, walking about 1,800 miles to get to the end of his journey. Now, to put that into context, that's further than walking from here to Athens. You can cover nearly all of Europe in that distance. And the thing is, he faced many challenges. He was knocked down and had to get back up off the floor. And at the final hurdle, the moment that he's about to win and get rid of this ring and win, he falls. He can't get up. And he says, I can't remember the birds. I can't remember the goodness of life. I give up. And in steps the best character, Samwise Gamgee. And he says a line, I love it. It says, I can't carry it for you, but I can carry you. And he picks Frodo off the floor, lifts him up, and drags him all the way up the hill. Because Frodo can't do it. But in steps Sam. He's like, well, I can't carry your burden of life for you, but I can help you. I can help you when you're struggling. And this is why we need our cloud of witnesses. Sam, in that moment, was acting like a cloud of witnesses for Frodo. Sometimes we find ourselves on the floor. We find ourselves beaten and we can't do it. We're not sure of the next step. Something happens that's just too much. Life is tough. Thank you, Will. And we look to this cloud of witnesses who have led us in our faith. We've got the Psalms of David crying out to the Lord. We have the faith of Job remaining true despite suffering. The trust of Peter, who steps out in faith from the boat in a storm. And there's so many more of these great stories. And we also can look closer to home. Maybe there's a youth pastor who gave us encouragement, a friend who was there in a time of need, or someone who shows us what a lifetime of running the race of faith can really look like. These people, they shape us, they support us, but they can't live our lives. They can't take that burden. Our cloud of witnesses can lift us up, inspire us, and look out for us. They cannot take the burden. Life is tough. There we go, good. Life can be... Jesus told us that we will face hardships, but he follows this by saying, take heart, for I have overcome the world. Life can be unforgiving, restless, busy, and painful. And we have a whole world that's already full of that, and an enemy throwing even more of that our way. Life is tough. Jesus says, come, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. So the question is, are you tired? Are you tired of being part of the race of the world? Tired from running the race of faith on your own strength? Well, just like any question, church, Jesus is the answer. We run to Jesus. We throw off everything that hinders us. For he has overcome that. He is greater than that. We run like a child to that embrace. We fix our eyes on him who gives us the strength to run the race of faith, who carries us when we fall, gives us the rest that we need. But most importantly, he has overcome the world and overcome this life that is tough. Amen.